So today I want to talk about what it was like owning a D-class mobile home park in a D-class area. So what do I define as a D-class area? It's high in crime. It's kind of a war zone for lack of a better word, and it's just an area that has a rough tenant base, right? So it's higher crime. It's going to attract certain tenants, kind of the lower class tenants, and the cash flow may seem very appealing, which is what it did to me. But there's a lot of other headache that goes with it. So let me talk about what my experience was owning a D-class mobile home park in a D-class area for about 2 years and all the things that I went through. So when D-class tenants, the people you're dealing with are, imagine, they're like minimum wage for the most part. Um, they are living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, maybe in credit card debt, and it's in a high crime area. So, unfortunately, you may have some tenants who are affiliated with gangs, drugs, and, just up to no good for the most part. Um, so, you know, these tenants, when you want to collect rent, it takes a certain type of property manager. It takes a property manager that is more aggressive, that is more confrontational, that it's literally going to knock on the door every day to collect rents, because that's the type that you have to, the type of personnel you have to have in order to collect rents from this D-class tenant base, right? So if your property manager is a suit and tie type of person, is non-confrontational, then they're not going to be a good property manager in a D-class area. And these D-class tenants, they're more transient, so they want more month-to-month leases. Um, they may pay, may not pay on time. You have to be a little bit rougher. You have to enforce the rules with them. They may not leave your property in the best condition afterwards. They may do transient things like let homeless people stay over. So it's just a rougher tenant base, and I can kind of share roughly like what I experienced in my mobile home park. And keep in mind, this was during COVID too. So once COVID hit, and basically the eviction, you couldn't evict tenants, especially in Alabama, specifically Selma, Alabama. You would think Alabama would be landlord friendly. It's not, right? It's actually more tenant friendly, closer to like California versus like Oklahoma, which is more landlord friendly. And it was really hard to evict tenants. And they had a rent relief programs, but most of these tenants, they weren't highly educated. Like most of them weren't even like high school educated. So you had to really walk them through on how to apply for the rental assistance program. And imagine my property manager, who he himself didn't have a high school education. So having somebody with low education show somebody with low education how to sign up for a rent relief program. But once that rent relief program was applied to, I would get those payments to me automatically to my banking account, right? But it was just hard to get these tenants to apply and be consistent and provide all the documentation how they were affected by COVID, like if they lost their job, if their income went down, whatever it is, right? It just requires a lot of documentation and a lot of income, right? So, that's one struggle you're gonna have to get, right? You're gonna have to be more aggressive, be more confrontational, knock on the door more. You have to be more patient and help them with things, right? Like maybe they're not good at like with technology and auto pay, so maybe they're just gonna hand you cash every um, month, or hand you a check, every month to deposit in the bank, right? Like we typically don't want cash because property managers can steal that, so we want a check, right? And you might have to help them with these things and remind them with these things. Um, we had tenants who would abuse the eviction, the hold on evictions, right? They know that, oh, I just cannot pay you, and you can't take me to court, right? So they would take advantage of that situation, and this is not just D class, but more likely, right? Like, and then these D class tenants, it was very discouraging that they would have like a nice car, buy a new TV that they threw out in the dumpster, but they're not paying their like $200 lot rent, right? So you know that they're kind of milking the situation a little bit. We had some D-class tenants, unfortunately, that were involved in gangs, right? So like, because my mobile home park was 55 acres, it was in a rough area. That was empty. A lot of gang activity happened there. So, like for example, we had a situation where another gang member was on the premise and got kidnapped, right, in a car and taken off somewhere else. We had a situation where we had a bunch of vacant mobile homes, and when my property manager opened it, um, he got attacked by some homeless person that was just staying there, right? So now every time when they entered the vacant mobile homes, they would carry like a weapon, a gun, or come with another person as extra security precaution, right? In D-class areas, we had to hire a part-time security guard who was there 4 hours a day at night, right, to deter the you know, gang members and criminals are coming there. And believe it or not, they caught a lot of criminals. Like we caught, like we caught like did a people's arrest of 3 people, involved in gangs. We kind of caught a drug transaction happening at the park. We mitigate a lot of people. So just knowing that there's security there, they're deter from it. That's now a cost to me. Or I have to pay a security guard, and it costs me $2,000 a month, right, to pay for the security guard full time. Um, we had an instance one night where there was a gas station nearby, and they literally stole our dumpster, a huge dumpster, attached it to the back of a truck to rob the gas station nearby, and they threw all the beer cans and the money in there, and they drove away with that. So they stole our dumpster to rob the gas station that was nearby. Um, we had, um, I think, a stabbing at the mobile home park where so apparently one renter who was month to month and transient was having an affair with a neighbor, and then that led to a stabbing, right? Um, so it just has that area just had a bad reputation. Gang members knew that they can do stuff there. You can talk to the cops. They say they make their rounds, but they didn't really. And shame on me, when I was doing due diligence on the park, that I talked to the sheriff's office, and they did say that it is a high crime area, but I was blinded by the profits, right? And that's the allure of D class areas, is that the cash flow can be very high, but you're dealing with a rougher tenant base, you're dealing with more crime, you're dealing with more gangs, you're dealing with more activity, like car break-ins, home break-ins, kidnapping. I went through all of it. I just owned it for like 2 years, right? And I had to pay for security. So it's just a lot more headaches, right? Like I went through a lot there, but I had to hire a full-time security guard. Every crime that I've seen has happened on my park, right? Um, you even have kids at night where they'd go there and they would shoot at the empty, vacant homes because they're vacant. You have drug exchanges happening there. You have gang activity there. The gas station nearby was robbed. So like it's just a lot of different other headaches, and it's just not the greatest area. And the tenant base, they don't want like long leases. They're just renting month to month, and they rent month to month, and then they want to pay rent. You evict them, and they trash the mobile home, right? So like it just was like going backwards and backwards, and one step forward, one step back. And the golden rule of real estate is location, location, location. I pumped in like $500,000 into this mobile home park, and it still didn't do anything, right? So that's why I sold this deal. Good luck to the next owner. But they're probably putting in millions into the park, and maybe they can do it if you have a full-time security guard and you fix it up and you make things better. But I just learned that like no amount of money can fix a bad location. I don't want to deal with these tenants. I'd rather buy a C-class apartment complex. Like my 26 unit and my 20 unit are C-class apartment complexes. I would actually say my 26 unit's probably a B minus or maybe B minus class, and then my 20 unit, it's probably like a C minus. My 20 unit, like I have issues where like they were letting homeless people into the area to stay, but we gave those tenants warnings and we would evict those tenants, right? So once that happened and we improved the tenant base, it stopped happening, right? We had like signs placed to say no trespassing, no loitering, and we could looking at security cameras being placed. But like it's pretty reasonable. Like 20 out of 20 are rented out, or sorry, 18 out of 20 are rented out, but like maybe one or two might be bad, but we can get rid of them, right? So I'd rather deal with that. Workforce. I want to deal with workforce housing. People who work, they pay their rent, no trouble, right? That's the ideal tenant. So like my 20 unit, once we turned the tenant base, we had a younger millennial tenant base. It's in a downtown area. They like the area. The rent's $500. They're quiet. They play by the rules, and they report kind of the bad apples, so it weeds them out, right? That's the type of tenants I want to deal with. So hopefully this gave you insight of what it's like dealing with a D-class asset in a D-class area, in a D class neighborhood, and these are what D class tenants are like. And I would recommend, as someone who's been doing real estate for 7 years, stay away from that. I tell my students, like, what, don't be blinded by the potential upside like I was, and just know that you cannot fix a bad location. It's a lot of headache. Like, you're better off buying a deal in a C class, B class neighborhood that's not as good upside, but it's more guaranteed, right? So that's just based on my personal experience. So, once again, if you need help, buying your first apartment complex, please check out my mentorship coaching program down below in the description. If you have any questions or comments, please drop it down. Love to answer these questions. And please share this video with somebody who's thinking about buying in D-class apartment or D-class areas, and maybe this will deter them away, right? It'll save you a lot of money, save you a lot of headache. So if you like to learn about real estate, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.